I don't know what it is, but these two new characters that were introduced fully in this episode, I have a lot of bad feelings about them. I don't know, just the way they are, or the way they were presented as characters in the story, they just seem too good to be true. Like, when you look at their character introductions, okay? They perfectly fit in with Raftalia, Philo, and Naofumi, which is a good thing. But just the way they're stated to be, like, level 70, like, they're really strong. They were in their 50s, and then they got into their 70s now because of the XP event. And then just seeing how there's so many vague things about them, for instance, to the language situation, to the whole situation with the way their fighting style is, to the way, you know, the magical chants are very different from anything Raftalia has ever seen. There's just so many weird things that are off about those two characters that are very unsettling. I don't know how to peg them right now. Like, I don't know if they are potentially enemies or not, but just the way this episode wanted to present them, there was a lot of things that were just off about their characters, and I feel like there's just more that we need to find out about them. Like, we need a little bit more time with the characters to truly see if they're, like, let's say, straight up a good, you know, good group, or if they're bad people. We have yet to really see. But the big point, though, is that this episode did show one major thing, and it definitely showed that Naofumi really does need a male friend. Yes, we have the spear, sword, and bow hero that are male characters, but let's be straight up with each other. They're not necessarily quote-unquote friends to Naofumi. He really just tolerates them because, you know, they're all four heroes that need to be able to work together. So, seeing someone like this new guy character introduced that was hanging out with Naofumi in this episode made me quite happy, honestly. It really kind of showed me what this series has kind of been missing. Like, you have Naofumi surrounded by Phil and Raftalia, which are great characters in their own way. I personally missed the just Raftalia and Naofumi dynamic before Philo came around, but overall, they're really good characters. However, there is something that is missing from their party, and that is another male character. And so seeing Ark introduced like he was, I'm like, I do hope that this isn't the last time we see of the character, and that maybe he could potentially join Naofumi's party, and if that is not the case, maybe one day Naofumi might get a male character that will join his party that will fit in, because I feel like Naofumi needs that. He needs a guy friend to be able to, you know, cut up with, have fun and all that. I just feel like that's something that he's really missing from his life right now in this new world. But getting back into the two characters that were introduced, though, if there is one thing at the very least we got from this episode, is that Ark is definitely not a hero. Now, I know it's been established that there's technically only 4 heroes, fine. But the point is, though, is just because of his overall design and the way he is, it just seems like he could have been a hero or something. Maybe a previous hero from a generation or something. But because of how Naofumi was gaining XP alongside of him, that straight up basically told us as the viewer that he is not a hero. None of those characters are a hero or whatever. So that would mean that they're probably just regular adventurers. Which is kind of cool, though, but at the same time, we do get confirmation what technically happens now if a hero is next to another hero. I mean, we already knew that XP would be lowered or whatever, but we get to see, because of the heroes being next to each other, like the sword, spear, bow, and shield hero being next to each other, it caused it where no XP was awarded. There was 0, nothing at all, which is really bad, honestly, which kind of goes along with the situation with the waves. Remember what I was talking about a few episode reviews back, is that when we found out the truth about how there's multiple waves going on throughout the world, because of our heroes being together on the same wave, it made it to where their EXP gain was drastically lowered, because they weren't getting the full EXP from, let's say, defeating bosses or the regular mobs that spawn from the waves. They weren't getting any EXP. So, because of that, we now see the dire situation of why they really do need to level up and how important this event really is. But okay, enough with that for now, though. The point is, this episode is a very chillax episode. Honestly, it is. It actually is probably the most RPG-ish episode of The Rising of the Shield Hero to date. And I'm fine with that, honestly. I really do like this episode. It actually makes me realize that there is something that I really wanted from this series since it started, and this is the kind of episode that I've actually been wanting. Just to see Naofumi adventuring with his party and getting stronger. I mean, we had cases of this earlier on in the series when it first started, when Raphtalia was introduced, and Naofumi was having to adventure, gain, you know, herbs and stuff to upgrade his skills. We saw that. But it's been missing since then, and seeing an episode like this kind of focusing on that aspect of Naofumi trying to level up, get stronger, fighting monsters, you know, mob drops, etc., etc., it's enjoyable. And I don't know, I had a lot of fun watching this episode, and I think it's just such a good way to kind of get us back into gear of what Rising of the Shield Hero is about, besides just the conflict that's been going on within, you know, Melomark and how Naofumi's been framed. This is a nice little side quest, basically. Which, by the way, I want to talk about the penguin suits at the end of the episode. So, I actually didn't know about it until it was told to me on Twitter, so I take no credit for it. But I was told, basically, that the penguin suits that Naofumi was wearing, and Raphtalia was wearing, and all that, at the end of the episode, he didn't actually make those. That was actually a drop from that penguin boss within this episode. And that was the weird drop that Naofumi was talking about to Ark. He's like, what is this weird drop? Apparently, they dropped those penguin suits, which in theory makes sense. Like, if we're thinking from RPG terms, like MMORPGs, etc., etc., when there's events, like event quest wear, which this is technically what it is, usually you have it to where specialized items, customization items or weapons, etc., will drop. And it's kind of like this. It's like, you know, you're in a regular summery area in an MMORPG, but then all of a sudden you see a Santa Claus hat drop. That's what happens when you're at, let's say, near Christmas time. It's just how an event is. And so the penguin dropping, like the penguin suit dropping, either is a rare drop from that boss, or it is just something that, you know, is for the event. Regardless, though, it's nice to see something like that. I wish it would have been clarified visually, but it's okay. It's nothing too major. I mean, I guess people can kind of fill in the blanks, but I do think that is a failure on the part of the anime, not really letting us know about what that weird drop necessarily was, because how vague it was, it could imply that Naofumi might have gotten a, you know, a legendary weapon or something, or a crazy item to be able to power him up. That's what it kind of implies, but if it's just a penguin suit, it was very vague for the audience, which I think is kind of messed up, to be honest. So anyways, let's talk about the point of the finale of this episode. We are introduced to another hourglass that is telling of an upcoming wave in just 2 days. And let's just be real, our characters are probably not ready. It's been stated that the next wave will probably kill off 3 of the 4 heroes. That's just how deadly it's going to be. And I'm kind of curious right now exactly how this wave is going to go. Are they ready? Are they ready to be able to fight this upcoming wave because of just, they're all going to have to be there in person. They obviously don't know where they're going to be summoned at in this area. And we even see that the heroes are really weak on the sea. Like, we see that the spear, sword, and bow hero, they really can't deal with being on boats. They get seasick. So, let's say if the fight takes on the middle of the sea and they have to be on a boat, that's not good, because they'll be drastically weakened where they really can't do much. So, I think that this episode really is building up the tension for the finale of the Rising of the Shield Hero. And it kind of makes me sad, though, because in just a few weeks, this series will come to an end. It feels like I've been, like, watching this series since, you know, this year began. And I think it actually has been that long, hasn't it? See, it's spring season right now. It's technically not summer season. So, yeah, we've been watching the Rising of the Shield Hero since winter 2019. Man, that's crazy to me. That's really crazy. It's literally been almost half a year, kind of, since the Shield Hero began, and it's about to end in a few weeks. It's sad to think about, but I do hope one day we do get a Season 2. I do think that Rising of the Shield Hero, it isn't as good as it was when it started, I want to be honest with you, but it's still a very enjoyable series, and I still love it to this day, and I think many agree with me that it's just enjoyable to watch week after week. But okay, anyways, let's get into the little miscellaneous stuff throughout the episode. Drunk Raphtalia. I need more of that. That was a really good segment of the episode. It's very short, but very funny, very enjoyable, because it showed a side of Raftalia that we really don't get to see often. She was a very savage brute in that moment that basically just did not hold back. Like, she looked at that, soldier dude and just like, okay, I'm done with this, and just slammed his arm to the, on the table, beat him in arm wrestling, proved her worth and her brawn and all that. I love that moment. Raftalia, great moment, great character, and I want more of her, honestly. I really hope that we get more of Raftalia's character development throughout the journey of this series. So yeah, overall, I think it's a pretty good episode of Rising of the Shield Hero. I think that, like I said, this is a really good step in the right direction for the story, because, I mean, this gets back into the roots of what the story is about, besides just being about the conflict of Naofumi, being betrayed by the people that he's supposed to protect. So, yeah, it's a great episode. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below, how you felt about this week's episode. Did you enjoy it? Did you hate it? Be honest in the comments below. I'm very curious. What was your favorite moment about it? How do you feel about Drunk Raftalia? Like I said, let me know. And so with that, I love you guys. You have a wonderful day or night wherever you live. Please be safe. If you enjoy my content, please subscribe. If you like this video, please leave a like. And if you want to get notified for whenever I upload a video, please click the bell icon down below, because for some reason, even if you click the subscribe button, you don't always get notified. So if you do want to get notified, hit that bell icon. And with that, Chibi out.